Have you ever wondered what truly happened on the Ides of March? In Rome, 44 BCE, whispers of betrayal haunted the corridors. Julius Caesar, celebrated conqueror and newly declared dictator for life, approached the final day of his journey. Senators, threatened by his growing power, conspired in secret. The stage was set for one of history's most dramatic turning points, with every warning sign overshadowed by ambition and cunning. They had reasons to fear Caesar's influence. He controlled the legions, reformed policies, and accepted endless honors. His triumphs fueled envy, and a sense of stolen liberty pervaded Rome's elites. Senators Cassius and Brutus harnessed this tension, assembling co-conspirators who believed in saving the Republic. Yet, Caesar's disregard for caution, including the cryptic soothsayer's warning to "beware the Ides of March," pushed him further into the crosshairs of destiny. In the days leading up to his death, omens multiplied. A dream predicted rivers of blood, and strange lights flickered across the night sky. Still, Caesar dismissed these signs, determined to appear fearless. Pride and power, traits that once carried him to victory, now blinded him to real danger. Even close advisors urged caution, but his unwavering confidence moved him forward, unaware of the silent storm about to strike. On the fateful morning, Calpurnia, Caesar's wife, pleaded with him not to leave home. She recounted nightmarish visions of his statue drenched in blood. Torn between superstition and duty, Caesar briefly considered postponing Senate matters. But just then, Decimus Brutus, a trusted ally turned conspirator, convinced him otherwise. Caesar's bold choice sealed his fate. There would be no turning back from the forum's halls, where betrayal had found its perfect stage. As Caesar approached the theater of Pompey, the irony was darkly palpable. This was the site dedicated to his greatest rival's memory and would soon become his death chamber. Tensions soared within the Senate. Cassius stationed co-plotters near every exit to ensure no escape. Brutus, torn by friendship and fidelity to the Republic, steeled himself for the unthinkable. Caesar, unaware, pressed inside, forging onward toward an irreversible destiny. He took his seat, senators fanned around him, and a hush settled over the chamber. One approached with a petition, drawing Caesar's gaze. Then another seized his toga. The first knife slashed at his neck, shocking him into grim reality. More daggers flashed in a flurry of steel. Caesar's instincts flared, yet he was surrounded. Blood splattered marble floors, and the Senate's revered dignity dissolved into monstrous violence. Amid piercing screams and furious shouts, Caesar tried to fight back, but the onslaught was relentless. Old allies and once loyal supporters joined the fray. Each stab ripped deeper into the Republic's illusions. Painted with his own blood, Caesar stumbled near Pompey's statue. In a savage twist of fate, he collapsed before the effigy of the very man he defeated. The final blow fell, and with it, Rome's dream of stability. In that moment, silence gripped the conspirators. Caesar's blood pooled across ancient stones, forever staining the symbol of Roman might. Shock lingered in the chamber, as if the walls themselves recoiled. Brutus stood trembling, haunted by the enormity of what he had done. Cassius exhaled, knowing they had crossed a line that could never be undone. Fear clutched every senator's heart, uncertain if they had truly saved the Republic. Outside, rumors exploded. Bystanders fled in terror, scrambling to make sense of the unimaginable. Word spread that Caesar was dead, taken down by those he once considered peers. The city quaked with uncertainty, as loyalties hung in delicate balance. Many wondered whether civil war would erupt again. Even the conspirators hadn't fully prepared for the wrath that might follow. Meanwhile, Caesar's body lay still, a grim testament to ambition's cost. Mark Antony, Caesar's staunch ally, hid himself at first. Knowing the conspirators' thirst, he feared he might be next. Yet cunning took root in his mind. He emerged, offering to conciliate, though his heart screamed for vengeance. Antony's charm and calculated moves would soon reshape events. He gained the conspirators' trust, only to plan a grand revenge. Rome had lost its leader, but Antony's political dance was just beginning. That night, an uneasy calm settled over streets still thick with dread. People lit lamps and told stories of Caesar's triumphs, remembering how he crossed the Rubicon or conquered Gaul. Some questioned whether Rome had cast aside its brightest star. Others whispered that tyranny died with him. Meanwhile, conspirators debated their next move. unsure if the city would hail them as liberators or condemn them as savage murderers. When dawn broke, Caesar's will was read, revealing generous gifts to Roman citizens. This unexpected benevolence stoked public grief. The city's sorrow turned to anger, directed at the conspirators who tried to claim moral high ground. Crowds congregated in the Forum, cursing the assassins' promise of a restored republic. Mark Antony seized the moment, fanning the flames of outrage. The seeds of conflict were sown, and Rome stood on edge. Then came Caesar's funeral, a spectacle of torches, music, and raw emotion. Antony, holding the crowd captive, delivered a legendary oration. His words dripped with calculated heartbreak, reminding everyone of Caesar's generosity and piercing them with sorrow. He raised Caesar's bloodied cloak, stirring outrage against the conspirators. The mob's fervor exploded, chanting vengeance. Antony's speech was not mere mourning, it was a rallying cry, forging loyalty where doubt had crept. Fearing fiery backlash, Brutus and Cassius distanced themselves from the city, convinced that their noble intentions might never be understood. Citizens, enraged and confused, demanded justice for Caesar's spilled blood. Mobs formed, burning houses thought to shelter conspirators. Rome's streets groaned under chaos, as the lust for retribution blossomed. Antony, playing both political and emotional cards, watched the republic split at its seams, anticipating the next power shift. In the midst of turmoil, Caesar's spirit loomed larger than ever. Some hailed him as a fallen hero, while others saw him as a would-be tyrant. The conspirators realized too late that they had opened a door to civil strife, rather than restoring order. Power beckoned to those bold enough to seize it. Antony, Octavian, Caesar's heir, and Lepidus roused armies, forging a triumvirate that would redefine Rome's destiny. The aftermath was far from the conspirators' hopes. War ignited again, pitting former friends against one another. Brutus and Cassius were forced to rally their own forces, drawn into tragic battles at Philippi. In every sense, Caesar's assassination backfired, fueling new autocrats rather than a restored republic. Ironically, his bloodshed ensured that the memory of Caesar would loom even greater. The sword that felled him ultimately sharpened Antony and Octavian's rise. From the first whispered plots to the final echoes of Antony's oration, Caesar's fall reshaped history. It was the assassination that triggered another cycle of power struggles, ensuring the Roman Republic's final twilight. That single day of daggers remains etched into human memory. It warned the ages that no throne is safe, no ambition goes without consequence. The Ides of March still resonates, an enduring reminder of destiny's fierce hand.